Now on to our next question. A rectangle PQRS has a diagonal PR where P is the point minus 310 and R is the point 4 minus 4. We're asked to calculate the length of the line PR. So the first thing that we're going to do is, let's say this is our diagonal. So at one point I have P and at the other point I have R. The coordinates at P are minus 3, 10, and at R, they are 4, minus 4. So the first thing you want to do is to label the coordinates at each point. So at each point, you have an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So at point P, this is my x coordinate, but I'm going to call it x1. And at R, this is going to be x2. So x always comes before y. Then at point P, this is going to be y1. And at point R, this is y2. Once you've done that, we're good to go. Since we're asked to calculate the length of the line, you must know this formula. The formula for the length of the line is L is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and plug in the values. So let's go. X2 is 4. So it's going to be 4 minus x1, which is minus 3. So you already have a minus here. Now I'm going to put minus 3 all squared. We're working with exactly the formula. Plus, let's go again. Y2. What is Y2? Y2 is minus 4 minus Y1. What is Y1? It is 10 all squared. So we're going to go ahead and work out what we have inside the bracket. So when you have two minuses in a row, this is a plus. So this is the same as 4 plus 3. Plus, let's go, minus 4 minus 10. This means if I owe 4, say you owe 4, and you also owe 10. In total, you owe 14. So I'm going to put minus 14. I cannot put 14 because I owe. The minus represents that I owe something. So minus 14. So L is equal to the square root of 4 plus 3, that is 7. So 7 squared plus minus 14 squared. So when you punch that into your calculator, that is equal to 196. So L is equal to 7 squared is 49. So 49 plus 196, that is equal to 245. So L is equal to, what is the square root of 245? 15.65. And we're going to put units. Now on to the next part of this question. We're asked to determine the equation of the line PR. Now the equation of a straight line is y is equal to mx plus c. That's the equation of a straight line. Any straight line, y is equal to mx plus c. Now, what you're going to do is you need to find two things in this equation. You need to find m and you also need to find c. And once we find what m is and what C is, then we're going to plug in those values into this equation. So M is our gradient and C is the y-intercept. So to find the gradient, which is M, we use the formula is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Now you notice that it's always good to label the coordinates. We can just plug in the values into the formula and it's easier. Now let's go. So m is equal to y2. Y2 is minus 4 minus what is y1? 10 divided by x2, which is 4, minus x1, which is minus 3. X1 is minus 3. So I'm going to put minus 3. So we have two minuses in a row, and you would have learned that when you have two minuses in a row, that's the same as a plus. So this is 4 plus 3. So let's go ahead and work this out. So if I owe 4 and I owe 10, in total I owe 14. And this now divided by 7, 4 plus 3 is 7. M is equal to, we're going to say positive into negative because the 7 is positive. Once you don't see a minus, obviously it must be plus. A number can either be positive or negative except for 0, which is neutral. So positive into negative is negative, and 7 into 14 goes 2 times. So the gradient is minus 2. So if you want more information on what I've just done, always remember this. Positive times positive is equal to positive. Negative times negative is equal to positive. Negative times positive is equal to negative. And positive times negative is equal to negative. So this is for multiplication, but it's the same thing that we use for division. So negative divided by positive is negative. So in this case, we divided positive into negative. So positive into negative is negative. So this works for both multiplication and division. We need now to find what C is. Now to find C, we have to use this equation to find C. So we're going to find C now. So we're going to use the equation y is equal to mx plus c. But in order for us to do so, we have to choose a point so that we can get a y coordinate and a x coordinate. So I'm going to choose point P. So we're going to use point P, and we know that the coordinates of point P are minus 3, 10. So minus 3, remember that the minus 3 is my x and the 10 is my y. So let's go. So y, we're going to put 10 is equal to m, which is the gradient, minus 2 times x. X is minus 3 plus c. Because c is what we're finding. So let's go ahead and work this out. 10 is equal to, remember the chart, look back at the chart that I gave you earlier. Negative times negative is positive. We're not going to put a plus because we already know that a positive number is any number that there's no minus in front of. So negative times negative is positive. 2 times 3 is 6. So we're going to put 6 plus C. Now, this is a simple equation. When you're trying to find what C is, you need to get C by itself, meaning only C alone must be on one side of the equation. You notice C is not by itself. You have 6 here. So, in order for us to have C by itself, we need to take this 6 over the equal sign. When it goes over this equal sign, the sign will change. So since it's positive on the right, when I bring it on the left, it's going to be minus. And if it were minus here, when I bring it over the equal sign, it would be plus. So let's go. So this now is going to be 10 minus 6 because I brought the 6 over. It's no longer positive. It is negative is equal to C. So I have C by itself. So let's work this out. So 6 from 10 is 4. So C is 4. So now we have everything we need to write the equation of the line. We know what N is. We know what C is. So we're just going to plug in the values into this equation. So let's go. Y is equal to M. M is minus 2. We're going to write the x because remember, we're only writing the values of these two. Plus c. What is c? C is 4. And this is the equation of the line.